inside of Israel. Because most of them work in Israel and have Israeli ID and consider as citizens. They're not serving the army, but they're citizens.
How many kibbutzim are we looking at?
There's one here with a fish pond. It's called Kibbutz Dan. And over there, there's another 3 kibbutzim, the Kibbutz and the tree. Along this road here, along the Lebanese border, we're talking about 6 kibbutzim.
So, but what we're looking at here is like 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dan and Tafna and Shalishu.
Is that the town right there that you're talking about?
That's Kiryat Shmona. No, the town that I talked about, it's over there on the slopes in the haze.
You can see it
You barely can see.
Oh, yeah.
Ah,
Straight out ahead.
That's the town.
Okay.
There-
Oh, the white area.
Can you see it?
Yeah, that's the town.
Up
Okay.
above that
almost
little
looks like a
patch, then
rock.
up above that.
Yeah, over there in the sun, for us, we call it the city. Even there's 20,000 people live there, that's in Israel, a big city. It's called Kiryat Shmona, the biggest one in the very north of the country. So now I want to get to the 6-Day War. In order to understand the 6-Day War, we need to go a little bit backward to 48. What happened in May 48, someone remember?
Independence.
Independence. And in the same day, instead of saying congratulations, those countries that surrounding us actually attacked Israel at the same time. And they're talking about Egypt from the south, and Jordan from the east, and Iraq, and Syria, and Lebanon. The only country that managed to conquer Israeli fields was Syria. Using the hydron, using the strategic advantage, they managed to conquer those fields we see here below us. Today, most of them, it's the avocado of Kibbutz Dan. And they conquered fields in the southeast of the valley, they conquered fields near the Sea of Galilee. Those fields, and now after the war, now the French we asked.
Is it true that they did not attack uniformly, but Jordan would attack one day and Egypt the next day?
Each of the countries had their own interests, and each of them wanted to conquer their own fields, and it's not that they cooperate. And that was the main reason that brought us to lose the war. And Israel to defeat 5 countries, yeah.
What was the main reason why? Because they didn't cooperate with each other. Oh, it
Yeah.
wasn't joined.
They almost fought one against another.
Ah.
They wanted to conquer fields, yeah. The Lebanese wanted to conquer the Upper Galilee. The Syrians wanted to conquer most of the Lower Galilee, those fields below us of the Holy Valley. Jordan wanted to conquer the west of Jerusalem. Egypt wanted to conquer the Negev. And each of them wanted to conquer their own land, but eventually each of them fought alone. So Israel by divided the army, and by now that they eventually fighting also once against another, and there's another theory that they wanted to conquer the land before the Palestinians going to do it. But they actually fought against the Palestinians. It was a big mess over there. But we took advantage that the Muslim world so divided. It's still today the same thing. And if they were united, the story between us and the Palestinians could be completely different. But all those countries that surrounding us, the Muslims, is the same as those Palestinians, lives in the West Bank or in Gaza, but most of them just hate them. And I'm going to try to talk about it after a little bit more. But regarding to the 6-Day War, after the War for Independence, in July 49, Israel signed on ceasefire agreements with Syria. Sorry. And the thing is that in this case, it's a good example to understand that here as Israeli guides, we try to be objective. I know that we can never be. And if we telling here the history, I think each of the guys need to call it as his story. And that's going to be mine here. And I'm going to give you facts, but only the facts that I choose to give you. So the ceasefire agreement is a very good example. Why? Each of the sides, Israel or Syria, decided to interpret the agreements in a different way. The Syrians said those fields that we managed to conquer in Israel, they announced by the UN as no-man lands. Means they not belong not to Israel and not to Syria. We cannot enter our army inside, and we cannot develop the land. It's not ours. Syria said no. Israel said no. Sorry, those are demilitarized fields. They're inside of Israel, belong to Israel. We just cannot enter our army inside. Means if you want to develop the land, we can. It's not no-man land. And because each of the sides decided to understand the UN agreements in a different way, that's what brought to the tension between the countries, and eventually also the 6-Day War. Because once Israel started to drain swamps down there in the valley, from the Syrian concern, we actually breached the ceasefire agreements. And in the same time, they fortified the western slopes of the Golan Heights, built those bunkers, this specific bunker built on no man's land. That's why I told you that the border was here. Means there were minefields and trenches over the border, inside of Israel. And the reality, gradually the reality of living down there in one of those kibbutzim, Kibbutz Dan, or Kibbutz Dafna, or Agushvir, Moshav Yeshuv, those kibbutzim here in the north of the valley, or kibbutzim in the center, in the south, or kibbutzim near the Sea of Galilee, was living in bomb shelters, working in the field with shell tractors, calling your children the bomb shelter kids because that's what they're born. And